Alright, hello, what's happening, class? How's everybody doing? For this week of writing and whatnot, all of my strategies, they fall underneath this football theme. And judging by how much I've learned this semester, my brain's growing, and this old helmet just don't work out so well anymore, so I hope I don't have the Peyton Manning forehead. But alright, so to begin with, a lot of my strategies, this is not the strategy that I'm speaking about, but I do love KWL charts or discussions or however it is that you want to work them out. And a lot of my strategies, I like to say, fall under this umbrella. So one of the reasons I love the KWL is that students get to self-check, and teachers also are able to check their students and kind of assess their background knowledge and know where they're at. And at the same time, you get to see what they want to learn. And you know, obviously we have these certain objectives and standards that we have to meet, but I think with some creativity we can always kind of massage our lessons to meet some of those student interests, which I think will boost engagement and excitement with the lesson as well. So without further ado, let me sit down my awesome football helmet. One of the first strategies, I'm highlighting three of them. Like I said, they fall under my football theme. First one is a timeout. So timeout is, students will think it's random, but obviously we as teachers, we're going to strategically kind of know when and where we want to call a timeout while a student's reading. And when you call a timeout, the students have to write up a small summary of what we have read or discussed thus far, and they're not going to know when it's coming. So I think that's going to kind of, you know, motivate a lot of students to really follow along and really work in their comprehension and understanding of what it is we are reading. And then obviously writing is kind of like the ultimate end all, where we get to see them take everything from reading, fluency, vocabulary, comprehension, whatnot, and now apply it into their writings. So and during the timeout, what I said, I'll go back to my KWL, what the teacher is looking for in this and what they're asking for the students to do, are there any misconceptions from the K, from the knowing? Because a lot of times there are misconceptions about what students know. And so one, the teacher gets to look inside the student's brain and see where those are and what they may be. Or has the student, maybe if it's a, you know, debatable piece, have they changed their opinion on whatnot? And have we hit on any of the students' wants yet in the reading? We might not have yet. It might be coming, but that's another point that the students have to make in the writing, and also what the teacher is looking for. And can we move anything into the L, learn column? That's the ultimate goal, and that's what we want to see. So let's see if we can move anything into that column. So next up is, oh, how I love my Promethean board. We get to go back next week. Okay. Next up is 2-minute drill. Alright, so when is a 2-minute drill? If you know anything about football, 2-minute drills are usually run towards the end of the game where a team is lacking behind. They have to speed up the game and hurry up and score fast. And 2-minute drill, not that I want anyone to speed up and go fast, but I am keeping the 2-minute drill writing strategy towards the end of the lesson. It pretty much is very similar to an exit ticket. I know that that's a pretty common one that a lot of people know. And so during the 2-minute drill, it's just that. It's at the end of the lesson, we've finished our readings, and the students must hit on 2 points in their reading prompt, in their response to the writing prompt. They have to identify a key point that was either read or discussed about. You know, don't take anything away from classroom discussions. It doesn't always have to come straight from reading and have to refer back to, you know, are you comprehending the discussion? Because a lot of great points come up in classroom discussion from not only the teacher but their peers as well. So they have to identify one of the key points that was either read about or discussed, and then most importantly for me, and I love this one, is they have to then pose to the class, the teacher, or to themselves a final question. And I think that's a good way to, one, make sure that the student still has an inquiry into the lesson and want to ask questions and want to learn more. But two, it's a great, what's the word? It's a great way to start up the lesson for the next morning. It's a great, discussion starter for the next morning. So, really like the 2-minute drill as well. Like I said, very similar to a exit ticket, but I have my old football helmet, my football tie. I had to, I'm tying them all into football theme. And so number 3, and I love this one so much. Number 3 is our coaches discussion. And so this writing strategy I think is really great. I call it coaches discussion because I always joke a lot of times, being a male in an elementary school, the assumption is that I am a coach. And so the question, in common conversation, oh, I work in elementary school. Oh, what do you coach? Well, I joke, I coach math. And because I'm a teacher, I'm not a coach. And I don't really care to be a coach, to be honest with you. I do love sports. I played sports, but I love to teach. And so I coach math at my particular school. But that's kind of my that's my approach. That's my mindset when I go into teaching. I want to go into it with them, like a coach would into a game. And so during the coaches discussion, this is really what I think is cool and unique. Is you're looking for the student to write a response to the teacher's response. So once you've turned in work, the teacher's going to grade it and write comments and whatnot and give it back to the student. The student has to respond to that. And I think this is a really great way too for the teachers. You can scaffold that for all varying levels of writing and skills. You can set them up for success. If you know that they're kind of struggling or they're getting started, say, I really liked your use of transition words. How do you feel about your use of transition words? And that way they're not just shooting in the dark. They're like, oh, okay, well, let me write a response to how I feel about, I feel that you struggled in your closure. It didn't have a very solid closure sentence or paragraph. How do you feel about this? Set the student up for success and then slowly, scaffold that, help pull it away until you have the student simply reading your response and writing a response to that. And I think this is great. It totally comes full circle. And again, in writings, I still want the students to hit on 2 main topics. And first and foremost, identify one strength. Always, even if it's the worst, most hideous writing you've ever seen, there's always good in it, and you better find it as a teacher and always highlight the student's strength. You don't ever want to tear them down and beat them up. Always show them their strengths. Even if it's something silly, pick it out and highlight their strength. And you want the student to do the same. Let them know what they're doing right. Let them know what they're strong at. And then that's something that you can build off of. And then one area to work on. Not an area that they're bad at, not one area that was terrible, an area to work on. And even your highest student, don't let them think they're perfect. They can always find something to work on. So I think that too, that can go both ways, kind of like double-edged sword, Always find a strength for a student. Don't ever rip them up and tear them down. It's a pet peeve. Always let them know what they're strong in. But your more advanced student, your strong students, those little students that know that they're smart, let them know too that don't ever stop improving yourself. Always work hard and continue to build and strengthen yourself. And so, with that being said, 1, 2, 3, quick, small, I think very effective strategies. They all kind of fall under my little football theme. So I hope you all enjoy them. I hope y'all getting ready for the upcoming football season. I know I am. And who dat?